We've now sailed to Alaska 3 times on 3 different cruise lines, and as we pack for the 4th time, we are packing very differently than we did on our first cruise.
That first time we packed a lot.
A lot. And what we found is we packed things that we didn't need, and we missed a few things that we did.
That's part of the problem.
So in this video, we're going to show you exactly what we packed for Alaska now,
How we avoid overpacking,
and how we fit it all in with our 3-bag packing strategy.
and stay with us because we're going to show you the exact visual method we use to lay everything out before it goes in the suitcase.
It has made a huge difference in helping us so that we don't overpack.
Because packing for Alaska is not about packing more.
It's about packing smarter. The first mistake we made when we started cruising to Alaska is thinking about the cold weather.
Because when you think about Alaska, you normally think freezing.
Exactly. And after sailing to Alaska a few times, we've learned that it's really not about the cold.
It's rain, wind, and changing temperatures. So now we pack in layers. And the main thing is to keep that rain out.
So you want to have a base layer. So we usually just pack a t-shirt. On top of that, we would put a flannel, a sweatshirt, a sweater. And then on top of that, we would put a puffer jacket to keep us warm. And then on top of that, a rain jacket.
Plus, there's a couple more things we really recommend. Rain pants and a poncho. The rain pants are great even when it's not raining, for when it's windy. They end up being wind pants, and we really found those help keep us warm on windy port days. The poncho is great even if you have a jacket that says that it's waterproof. It may be more water resistant. Plus, if you're standing out in the rain for an hour or two, it's going to get soaked. That poncho will definitely keep the rain out.
Stick around because a little bit later in the video, I have everything laid out in a visual way so you can see exactly what we're packing to bring when we go next week to Alaska.
Cruising to Alaska is generally more casual. You're usually going to wear the same thing to dinner that you wore during the day, except for maybe a couple of formal nights. And we are traveling on a ship, so we are going to need some dinner clothes.
Yes, we're going on a Holland America ship, thus the orange. And so we have our 2 formal nights on a Holland America ship. So we're going to talk also about what we wear for that. So for the men out there, what would they pack? What should they pack?
Khakis are always good, and a polo or a button-down shirt, and some decent dress shoes.
So no tuxedo.
No. You want to make a statement? Sure. How about the women?
So what I'm bringing is I'm going to bring a couple different dresses. One of them is going to be orange because we're going on Holland America and they have an orange night. You're also going to be packing an orange shirt for the orange night as well. Besides maybe overpacking for formal night, another area that people overpack on any vacation or cruise is shoes. So we are limiting ourselves to 3 pairs. So can you share what you're bringing for your shoes?
Sure. So first I've got a pair of lace-up dress shoes I'll wear on board the ship. Got a pair of tennis shoes, and these are just general shoes I'm going to wear on the plane and whatnot to get there and on board. And then we've got these great new hiking shoes that we got. They're Nordivate, and they're waterproof, so I'm excited to try these out. We both got a pair, and these will be fun to wear in port, and they'll be great on rainy days as well.
So I normally would suggest just getting a pair of leather sneakers, and they've worked fine. But this year we plan on going off-roading a little bit and going up to Reed Falls in Skagway. So I also got my Nordiv 8 shoes, and just look at the treads on those. So that's what I'm thinking, that these treads are going to be helpful because we know it's going to rain at every port that we're going to.
Right, might be a little slick.
So in addition to those, for on the ship, I'm going to have just regular sneakers. So these sneakers I wear all the time. So they're like my #1 shoe of choice. And then I have these, which I'll use for formal night. Not terribly formal, but again, we know that on Alaska, it's not that formal. So these will work just fine. These next items are small, but they make a big difference.
And they don't take up much room.
Exactly. So when you're out on the ship, on the deck, maybe on glacier day, and it's getting cold, or you're in port and it's wet and windy, you'll want these items. So it's one thing that we need to pack.
Well, gloves for sure. We're bringing some kind of general purpose gloves. These aren't exactly like snow skiing gloves. They're not that heavy duty. They're still fairly light, but they're going to keep you warm and they're going to keep the wind and rain out.
Good. And then I am bringing a variety of hats. Noah gets a beanie, one beanie. Oh, and he gets this hat too. So like we talked about, it may not be that cold. It may just be sunny. So this hat will work for that. And then for me, if I just have sunny, I'd wear just a ball cap. And then, but for cold, this one I like if it's cold and rainy because it has a big rim on it. And then when I wear my rain jacket, I can put the hood of the rain jacket or the poncho over it, and it'll keep the rain from falling in my face. And then finally, I have another beanie because this one's really cute. So if it's not wet out and it's just cold, I can wear this beanie just because I like it. So maybe I'm overpacking beanies a little bit. I like the beanies. What else are we bringing?
Oh, we've got some socks. These happen to be alpaca socks, so those will be nice and warm.
So that is one area where you might look into getting some water wicking socks. So water wicking base layers or medium layers, not that worried about, but I would say with your socks, you might consider getting some water wicking socks to go in those waterproof shoes. And just so you know, everything that we're talking about in the video, we're going to link in the description below. Those are a few small things to keep you more comfortable when you're cruising. Now let's talk about some cruise essentials that are not cruise essentials for everything. They're specifically for Alaska. So what's our first one?
Binoculars. So we've got two examples here. We've got these smaller ones, which you like to call noculars because they really don't work that well. They're too small. They are 10 power, which is a little much, so it's hard to keep them steady. We recommend something more along these lines, where these are an 8 power, a little bit larger, better optics, easier to handle. So a good chance you are going to run across some wildlife to spot, either in the ocean with whales, otter, in the sky with eagles, on land, potentially Dall sheep, and if you are on a land tour, also moose and possibly some caribou.
My Alaska essential is an umbrella. Even though I'm gonna have my rain jacket and my poncho and my rain pants, I still don't want rain on my head. So I have a new kind of umbrella I'm bringing. I am gonna bring this one because it's super light. So this one's good to put in your backpack. It's super light, but it's kind of on the small side. So I'm still gonna bring that, but that one's Noah's. So for me, I need a lot of coverage. I'm gonna bring this one. Oh, look at how fast it opens.
I could fit under here too.
Yeah, maybe. So I really wanted to have a more like substantial umbrella because I know that I'm going to use it. What's your next Alaska essential?
This great Anchor power bank. This has got a few features that are really handy. It's got an included cord, and you've got a USB-C and a USB plug. This is also a great thing to have in the cabin because the plugs are kind of limited in the cabin, and we've never run across a cabin that has a USB-C plug. Some of them have a USB, but it seems like a lot of equipment these days require USB-C, so this would be good to charging your equipment inside the cabin as well.
My next cruise essential is sunglasses, and polarized sunglasses work really well when you're in Alaska because a lot of times you're doing excursions and stuff when you're on the water and it can be bright.
This year we plan to do a little bit of hiking. We may encounter a few bugs. We want to keep them away from us. So we've got some lemon eucalyptus oil insect repellent that we're going to try out.
The next thing you're going to want to bring is sunscreen. So you never know what the weather's going to be. It could be rainy in the morning, sunny in the afternoon, sunny in the morning, rainy in the afternoon. You never know. So you always want to wear your sunscreen because the sun is strong there. And in addition to that, you'll want to wear some kind of lip protection because of the wind and the sun.
Something else we like to bring in Alaska, because we have talked about how it gets wet there, is a waterproof pouch to put your phone in. So this works pretty simply. Just slide it in there, and then you can seal it up, just like that. And then it's got a clear screen that you can still function with your finger to operate your phone.
If your ship goes to Glacier Bay, and you already have a national park passport, you'll want to bring this because you'll be able to stamp your passport book, your national park passport book. And then also, if you happen to be doing a cruise tour to Denali, you'll be able to get a stamp there as well.
So we already talked about dressing in layers. So if it warms up, you need to take some of those layers off. You need something to carry them in. we like to use this backpack here. Now this is a water resistant backpack, but it does have a waterproof section here that you can see it's plastic lined. So anything you put in there should stay nice and dry out in the rain.
So one thing I would do is I would bring some like gallon size Ziploc bags, because if there's more to put in there than can fit in that pouch,
Right.
you'll want to put it in that to keep it dry if you're out and about and it's raining.
Something that we recommend you do bring that we hope you don't have to use is
Seasickness medicine. So when you're on these big ships, most of them are very stable, but the seas can get rocky, particularly if you're sailing out of Seattle that goes on the outside to get to Ketchikan and Juneau and Skagway and the other cities there. So I like Bonine. I think that it works well. It doesn't make me sleepy. I also have a patch that you can get from your doctor just in case anybody is getting that seasickness. And then I also always carry these ginger chews. Ginger is like a natural way to settle your stomach. Here's the trick. As soon as you don't start feeling well, take your medicine. And here's the other thing. You may feel fine on the big ship because they have all the stabilizers, but let's just say you're going whale watching, you're going fishing, you're doing an excursion where you're going on a smaller boat. This would be an area where it could get a little rocky and then your stomach might get upset. So that would be, if you know you get motion sickness, take that before you go on that smaller boat.
Let's go see our visual method on how we pack to avoid overpacking.
Here we are with our visual, how you're gonna pack. So this is the part, your 3x3 that you're gonna start with. So the top, you're gonna have a pants or a pants layer or bottom layer. You're gonna have a top layer, and then you're gonna have some kind of warmth layer. Next row, you'll have another top, warmth layer, pants. And then the next you have a top, pants, and a warmth layer. The idea is that you can wear these outfits, go across this row, go diagonal, and that you'll have many outfits to choose from. So here's where you get a few bonus items. I add a few bonus items when you're cruising. So this is more your daytime wear and your casual wear. Now let's talk about evenings. So I've got this dress that's just a ruffled dress for nighttime that doesn't wrinkle. And then also for nighttime, this is what would be another dress at night, and it would be using for the orange night on my Holland America cruise. In addition to that, all these are warmer layers. I am bringing a lighter like shirt just because one of the times we went, it was so hot and I didn't have anything lighter to wear, so I have that opportunity. This is just to put over this to give it that orange look. And then this is something that I suggest that you bring. I would bring this on the plane with me. So this is just like a wrap, but it can also work as a travel blanket to keep you warm. So it can get cold on the ship. So this is something you can just use to kind of keep you warm without really having to pack a whole nother top. On the port days, I'm gonna be wearing jeans on all 3 days. I brought 2 pairs of jeans. And then just to kind of show you what the base layer is. So just like a base layer, just long sleeve t-shirt, a base layer, this is like a light sweater. And then the next warmth layer, I'm bringing a couple different flannels. And then when I'm on the ship, like this is an example of how you can get more in. This is my embarkation day outfit. So my embarkation day outfit, another pair of just like, these are just light dress pants, and then a nice shirt. Okay, for the men, it's a little easier. So 3 bottoms. For no, we just pack 3 pairs of jeans, but you can mix and match depending upon what you normally wear. Again, it's a casual cruise. And then for his base layer, just cotton t-shirts. We're not going out buying a bunch of dry fit just for the cruise. So we have a couple short sleeve and a long sleeve. And then we do have a dry fit polo, and that works good on the ship or off the ship as a base layer. Next, for warmth layers, for the layers, we have a couple like a flannel and a fleece. And then on the bottom, you can see we have dress pants, a dress top, and then we have another one of those dry fit polos that will work for orange night. I find that packing method so helpful. We've used it on the last 2 cruises we've done, and it really does narrow down what you bring.
If you find that two things are doing the same job, leave one of them at home. Now that you know what you're bringing, it's time to figure out how you're going to get it all there.
And one thing that we have figured out is that we don't put everything for Noah in one bag and everything for me in another bag. We use a 3-bag packing method.
Right, we have a large backpack and we've got 2 suitcases.
This is a big travel backpack, but it's not too big to go under your seat when you're on the plane and count as a personal item. So in here, you're gonna pack everything you need for that first day. You're gonna fly in a day early, always the advice, and this is the only bag you're gonna unpack. So you're gonna need all your clothes for embarkation day, you're gonna need your makeup, and you're gonna need your toiletries. You also don't want to forget any medicine. So any medicine that you need, you wanna put in this bag too. Something else you might put in this too is for that first day on the cruise, you might put, if you like to go swimming or in a hot tub on that first day, you might put that in this as well. Something to know, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we've heard too many horror stories where the luggage has not shown up. So by putting everything in this, at least you have 1 day's worth of luggage ready to go. What about these bags? This bag, we carry on. No matter what, they're gonna wanna check it. We don't let them. We want that bag with us because that way for sure we're confident we've got a bag full of clothes with us. This bag, we do check, and it always is 49.5 pounds. So we put half of Noah's clothes and half of my clothes in one bag and half of Noah's clothes and half of my clothes in the other bag. That way, if for any reason this bag doesn't make it, we're still set, we're still good to cruise. One more thing that I wanna talk about is whether we use regular packing cubes or compression packing cubes. And for Alaska, I think a combination is a good plan because these clothes are bulky. So let's do a comparison. Okay, so this is a regular packing cube that I put all those things in. Both packing cubes are about the same size. Okay, so this takes up about that much room. So this is uncompressed. Basically same amount of space. So we're gonna close this one up. Okay, so that's about the same. But now, the magic of the compression. Magic. Sometimes it takes 2 people to zip these up. It's kind of like putting on a tight pair of jeans. But you can see it takes up a lot less space than using a regular packing cube. So why would you ever use a regular packing cube? Packing cubes are used for organization. So I'll put in a packing cube like this, our underwear, our socks, because this then acts like a drawer when I get on the cruise ship. Bulky items like these, they will go in a compression packing cube just so they take up less space in your luggage. So why not just use these all the time? Because your luggage will get too heavy. So it's good to use a combination, one for organization and one to get more space.
Packing is just one part of getting ready for Alaska.
You still have to figure out what to do once you get there.
Exactly. And so you want to know what to do when you arrive, watch this video next. Happy sailing.